taking a look at the top 5 NFL free agents who could start for the Cowboys in 2024. Now, not every guy is an obvious clear-cut starter, but I think a lot of them are. Now, if you want the Cowboys to sign someone, they've got open roster spots after all, and it would just be cheapness to not fill those roles. If you want the Cowboys to sign somebody, like today's video, and maybe bullying can continue to work here for the Cowboys. I don't think anyone's surprised, by the headline I put on this video, but Stephon Gilmore is first up on this list. And this one is the, I think, pretty obvious, easy argument to make. Gilmore was a starter last year for Dallas. Now, the Cowboys have Trayvon Diggs back from injury. Deron Bland had the massive breakout campaign. And they re-signed Jordan Lewis. And I like all three of those guys. And I'm not starting Gilmore over Diggs and Bland, to be quite honest. Those are my outside corners in base personnel. But when I'm going to go to nickel, and I'm going to put 3 corners out there, I'm taking Gilmore over Jordan Lewis. I think Gilmore as an outside corner, even though he can't do the crossers the same way he used to maybe, he's still good. Now, he is about as old as you'll see an active corner in the NFL outside of like the freaky guys like, to an extent, Dion and Darnell Green. But he could still play football. He could still be a good football player for an NFL team. I think the Cowboys would benefit from bringing back Gilmore. And that's not to be anti-Jordan Lewis. I still, the Free J. Lou campaign was one of the very limited successful campaigns we have had here at the Cowboys Report. Fatty's only has been a bust. Other free campaigns have led to the Cowboys taking things too literally and releasing that player. That happened with the Free and I campaign. Dontari Poe took Fatty's only too literally. But the Free J. Lou campaign worked because they did play him more. And for the most part, he's been a really good nickel corner. And I thought down the stretch last year was the best he's played. Coming off that really bad foot injury, he played, I thought, his best 2 games to wrap up the regular season. And we'll just toss that playoff game out the window because Gilmore was also not very good in that game. So do you want to bring back Stephon Gilmore? I am certainly on board, obviously. But what do you guys want to do? It's the pinned comment on today's show. So the ad comes here. Fine. Ignore it. Go vote. Y for yes, N for no. We'll do this video for a lot of different chat sports channels, and Justin Simmons should be on every single one of them. And it's not because every team needs a starting caliber free safety. He's just that good. I am actually shocked that Justin Simmons is unsigned as we move closer and closer here into the end of middle of July and end of July. He still makes plays. He makes multiple interceptions every single season. I don't think he's in the same, is he the best safety in the NFL conversation he was a few years ago, but I would have an almost impossible time finding in fact, I cannot do it, finding 30 better safeties in the NFL. In fact, on that ESPN safety rankings, the one recently released where they consult with coaches and execs and players, Simmons was 11th still, despite being unsigned. That's super rare. Here's what one NFL personnel evaluator said on Simmons. Still really good, but not the blue chip player he was. More of a high-level red at this stage. Still versatile and can play in the post with leadership and smarts. I would like that guy. Sounds like a good football player. And I don't even need a safety, frankly. I have Malik Hooker. I have Donovan Wilson, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. We'll see what Israel Mukuamu does for this team, whether he's a safety or a corner or a hybrid or a core special teamer or whatever. But is it Simmons better than Malik Hooker? Now, the money probably makes it unlikely for Dallas. He probably wants an easier path to guaranteed playing time. It's not going to happen. But if we're naming 5 free agents who can start, Simmons has to be on this list. So will the Cowboys sign anybody between now and the start of the regular season? 1 for yes, at least one guy, or 0 for nope, not going to happen. Next up is Linval Joseph, and I really had a tough time finding a defensive tackle. But you have to put a defensive tackle on here, right? And even if it's just like we cheat and say starter gets rotational starter-esque snaps as DT3, whatever, fine. This defensive tackle room sucks, I'm sorry. And I had raised this drum multiple times in free agency. The market was wild. mediocre players like Justin Jones are getting $7 million per year. Shit, I need bodies right now. You lose Osa Odigizua, who the hell is your 3 technique? Is Chauncey Golston Jr. Fiocco going to bulk up? If Mozzie Smith doesn't take a step forward, we're going to bank on a 7th-round rookie and Justin Rogers and, let's call it what it is, washed veteran Carl Davis? This defensive tackle room needs help. Now, the issue is there aren't very many good free agents available. I don't think Lynval Joseph is that good of a football player at this stage in his NFL career. But the bar is super low. I need somebody. I need bodies. I think Linval Joseph, who's got ties to Mike Zimmer, can find a way to make that work in Dallas, even if it's not the best option available. I want you guys to name a free agent who you would like to sign. Any name that's available, who do you want the Cowboys to go out and pursue on the open market? Now, these last 2 names have a caveat with them because I don't know if they'd even start guaranteed at least. David Bakhtiari, this assumes health for starters. When healthy, he's an awesome left tackle. And I know he went on the Schefter podcast and said he was healthy. We'll see. You know, we are in best shape of life season after all. Or not everyone actually is in the best shape of their lives, even though they claim to be. And when you're that old, you're just not. Even if maybe you were in better shape than last year when healthy. My reason for putting him on here is what if Guyton's not ready? Guyton was a developmental pick out of Oklahoma. I am okay letting him learn on the job. I think that tends to be better in, I actually would argue, most facets of life, in especially football too. But if he's not ready, well, then the only guy you have to start over is Chuma Adoga. He ain't good. Come on. The benefits of going with the veteran is they're not going to make the stupid mistake and get your quarterback killed. Guess what Adoga did 5 times last year? Oh, I didn't know what the plan was. How do you not know? You're a veteran. You're not supposed to be making the mistakes. You're supposed to be consistent and technically sound. And you don't have the same ceiling and the big splash plays and elite blocking, whatever, but you're not going to make the bad killer mistake. I don't trust Adoga to not do that. I would trust Bakhtiari to not do that if he's healthy. Speaking of ifs, if the Cowboys make a signing, we will have a video for you. So do not miss out. Hit that sub button. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV for more free Cowboys videos each and every single day. Now, I think you can argue that Michael Thomas or Hunter Renfrow are one of the better receivers on the open market. I have rallied against them before, so I kind of, in good faith, cannot go back on my word here. So I'm going to go with the very different name. And there's also a big if here of or I guess maybe a but of, okay, but what's his actual status? And that's Corey Davis. When Davis has been healthy, he's actually been a pretty good football player. Now, he retired in 2023 and then unretired, and there has been nary a peep about him on the open market. Not a lot of interest in him. That is actually a massive red flag because with terrible quarterback play in 2022, he still averaged almost 17 yards per catch. When he retired, he was still going to start for the Jets. Now, for whatever reason, there hasn't been much interest in him. But why not bring him in for a workout? See what kind of shape he's in. Because if you get the good version of Corey Davis, which I think is less removed from seeing than some of the other receivers on the open market, well, if Jalen Tolbert doesn't take a step forward, if Jalen Brooks ain't the guy, maybe Davis could help you. He's 5th on this list because I think it's the least likely scenario to happen. But I think that's a notable name you could potentially consider and review. Tolbert, I want to see the breakout year. A couple of these names on this list were okay, the young guy's not coming along in camp. Let's break the glass for emergency and bring somebody else in early August, whatever, to get through the season and move on from those guys in the future. So Davis was my least favorite option. Gilmore, I think, is my most favorite. Those things are 5 guys that could help your team if your ownership wants to actually spend some money.